Okay, welcome one and all. Thank you for turning up this evening. We're going to look at sovereignty law and dominion, which are all deficient words really to describe what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get out of the mess that we're in, and we're trying to find remedy. How did the mess happen? And in order to understand how the mess happened, you've got to go back in history quite a bit. So I'm going to do that. I hope you're not going to be bored with that, because history's, history, you know. You remember the history lessons at school? Oh, God, they were painful. But I'm going to take us back a little bit around the Mediterranean and discover where a lot of the trouble happened. I've already presented information along these lines, and I've gone into the history of these people here, and especially Pope Boniface VIII in 1302, who started the big mess. And I've done that, but I want to go back further because it's very important. And you'll get a really good perspective. And I'm going to bust all the entities that are involved in this big conspiracy against mankind to enslave mankind. And I'm going to bust the churches. The churches don't get out of this. The churches are right in it, right in the thick of it. And they ponce around on their high horses, on their high moral ground, because they have the backing of the government, which is also corrupt. And all of these 30,000 so-called Christian registered denominations are doing business on this planet as corporations. And they are behind a lot of it. So they're going to be busted. And all the entities that are involved in this are going to be busted big time this evening. Okay? And then in the second hour, or in the second part of this evening's presentation, we're going to do remedies. So, and real remedies. You want to cut for a tick? Sorry, mate. Because that's really what we want, don't we? Yeah. And there's quite a lot of guys out there that have got some practical things that you can do. If you're going to court, well, you want to study up on guys like Dean Clifford, etc. You know all the guys out there on the internet. He does a good job helping people to understand trust law and stuff like that. Personally, I wouldn't go to court. My motto is peaceful non-compliance. Peaceful non-compliance. And I think by the end of the evening, you'll probably agree that that's the best way to go. The Magna Carta advocates lawful rebellion. Lawful rebellion. We're talking about law tonight. Tonight. Sounds like a show, doesn't it? But law. Natural law. There's only one law. Don't do any injury to any other living thing. Do not injure, do not hurt, do not commit fraud. It's pretty simple. But you've got trillions of statutes and legislation and bylaws and enactments. In this country, we have local government. Local government? Didn't we have a referendum in 1988 and 63% of the Australian population said no to local government? We've got federal and state. And how is it that the local governments are charging all of you guys taxes and rates, when I will prove this evening that all those pensioners that go to the post office and struggle with their $200 a week and they're living on water and bread, I know, because I'm a street musician, and they come to me crying, wondering if I've got extra money today. How did you do, Santos? Did you do well? Oh, I was struggling last week. Something's wrong with that. Yeah, the condition of our pensioners is absolutely third world, and the banksters are stealing their money. I will prove it. And I will prove that all those utility statements that they get, not true bills, they get these statements in the mail. Mr. Smith, you've used $80 of electricity. You need to pay that in they even tell you, and it's only a statement. It's not a true bill. And so these pensioners rush off with a little bit of money they've got in their banks and pay, and guess what? It's already been prepaid. You've got a trust. So if you're going to benefit from the situation, you've got a trust which pays for everything. Even your mortgage, when you go and scribble on those mortgage documents and create the money, the banksters have double-dipped, haven't they? And they're doing that with local government is stealing money. They are outlaws. They are criminal organisations. In Ireland now, they're starting to say no pay. In Greece, all around the world they're waking up. Iceland said, no thank you, banks, piss off. And here, you turn on the TV, every second ad is what? Yeah, the NAB, best bank. And they tell you how many billions they make. Billions. Yeah. And those insurance types. Get your insurance. This insurance, that insurance, superannuation, all of these insurance, every second freaking ad. What's with that? Because they know they're going down. They are going down. Big time. Because consciousness is going to destroy these corporations. What are corporations? Corpses. Corpses. And I'll show you how these corpses are doing business with you and they have enslaved you. We have been turned into citizens in our citizenships. These corporations are ships, pirates on the high waters. And we're in their ship. And I'll show you how. Your birth certificate is your ticket onto these ships. I'm going to read a few interesting quotes. Benjamin Disraeli, politician in the 1800s in England. Well, he was the Prime Minister, wasn't he? The world is governed by very different people from what is imagined by those who are not behind the scenes. Governments do not govern, but merely control the machinery of government, being themselves controlled by the hidden hand. Oh yeah, you better believe it. There's a hidden hand, all right. Yeah. That's why Julia Gillard, there'll be no tax with my government. Next thing you know, we've got carbon tax. She got in because she promised. This is what they do. They're liars. They're a pack of thugs and they're criminals. And so are the magistrates and the whole justice criminal system. Yeah, criminal law. They call it criminal law because they run the crime. And they drag you into court if you've committed a crime because they don't want any rivals. It's a mafia. They control all the crime. All of it. The drugs, the people trafficking, the lot. These creeps. These churches. It's all parishes. When Captain Cook came here with his maritime flag, he did it for the church, for the crown. The crown, the Commonwealth, and the Holy See is all their intellectual property. All of it. They own it. And it's all corporation. It's a corpse. It's dead. And they're doing business with us, and you're in contract. You're under a contract with them. Sound a little angry, don't I? When you know what I know, that's how it gets you. Because I just heard about Kate of Gaia, my friend in Canada, just sent me an email today about a guy who was persecuted by the local council in Canada there because he had chickens. He had 20 chickens and then they wanted his farm, the local council. The bureaucracy went mad. Eventually they harassed him so much they had policemen on his tail everywhere he went, arresting him, throwing him into jail. They closed him, shut him out of his house. They put him into prison. In the meantime, his house was broken into and he lost all his property. Man, what they did to this guy. Eventually, you know what the guy did? When the cops came for him in the end, he had enough. And he put all this, I think it was petrol or kerosene or whatever, and he, as they came, he's an old gentleman. He's probably in his 60s or 70s by the looks of the photos. and he ignited that and burned the whole lot. He just had enough. There's radio interviews of this guy you can hear on the internet, and it makes you cry when you hear his voice and all the trouble that they gave him. It's these land grabbers. That's who it is. They want all the land. They want it all. They don't want to share. They don't want you to have a bit. They want it all. And they're getting it. And this guy killed himself, of course. They couldn't even find his remains. It was so badly charred. And people are doing that. They're jumping out of buildings, jumping off bridges because of, can't pay their mortgages when they created the money and gave it to the banksters. So we're going to bust the banksters and the churches, because that's the banks. This is the bank, the bench. We're going to bust them big time. There should be no churches on this planet. None of them. They're not fit. They're killers. They're rapists. They're murderers. They're a den of thieves. And they're criminals. Bloodthirsty and blood guilty. War upon war upon war had been created by these mongrels. Animals, unconscious animals. Because conscious entities do not kill. They don't kill. So you can see, obviously, you're going to get a very metaphysical and multi-dimensional presentation tonight. I'm not just going to do sovereignty nice and dry. Leo Tolstoy. Government is an association of men who do violence to the rest of us. James Madison. If tyranny and oppression come to this land, it'll be in the guise of fighting a foreign enemy. Yeah. The terrorists. They're about as real as the corporations that are telling you that they're real. They're corpses. They're in the media, the Rothschild-controlled media that tells you we need to fight against terrorists and we need to pay carbon tax because it's good for business and it keeps the military-industrial complex going so that those young kids that get sent to Libya can, practice using those beautiful new machines now. We've got some really good killing stuff in the military-industrial complex. We can't just have that shit sitting in the warehouses, can we? Let's start a few wars so these kids can go out and get some killing practice. It's good to kill. It's good for the banks. And you'll see why I get like this in a minute when you see how the corruption all happened, how we got in this mess. Thomas Jefferson, loved Thomas Jefferson, get into him. He hated the churches. He even made his own Jefferson Bible and he took out all those miracles that people believe really happened. Jesus walked on water, and he took them out. And you can read the Jefferson Bible. There's no nonsense in that Bible, but he hated the Christian church. He was a Hermetist. So was Thomas Paine, so was Benjamin Franklin, so was Washington, all of those guys. So for all these churchgoers, they say, we need to bring our country, America, back to its Christian foundations. Bullshit. It was Hermetic. It's Hermetic from the start. It was a republic. The Christian bullshit that came after, that's the 1981 Act when they founded DC, when these guys founded their corporation on that republic, that Hermetic republic. Andrew Jackson was a Hermetist. He killed the banks, remember? That's on his grave. Yeah, they were into science. They weren't into this church-going buffoonery. Leonardo da Vinci said, if you find from your own experience that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority and base your reasoning on your own findings. What does that mean? We need to lose the opinions, leave them at the door. Don't be burdened with opinions, guys. Either it's truth or it's not truth. Yes, I know truth is on different levels, but truth is a vibration of light, and everything is light. So there is truth, yeah, and you've got it. And it resonates with you, and you know it when you find it. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Joseph Kennedy, father of JFK, 50 men have run America, and that's a high figure. I wonder who those 50 criminals are. I wonder whether their mothers are proud of them for all the crimes, like George Bush. Would his mother be? Yeah, she would. Yeah, the whole family would be proud, like the Rothschild dynasty mother who said, if my son didn't want wars, there wouldn't be wars. What sick entities like these. I'm quoting, I'm not making any of these up. These are quotes from men that know. You can write me off as, oh, you're right, you don't know, Santos, fair enough. But I'm talking from men that know that are saying this. Just something of encouragement. The Hopi elders say, all that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration because we are the ones we have been waiting for. That's why you're here, and that's why you want to do something about remedies. Because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Okay, we've had a crack at this. We've had a crack at being free. Check out the Bogomils in the Dark Ages, the Huguenots, the Lollards, the Socinians, the Collegians, the Albigenses, the Cathars. I mean, I can go on and on and on. They murdered and killed these guys, Giordano Bruno, Campanella, Pietro Carnesecchi, Boethius, Hypatia, Thomas More. I mean, how many of our brothers have been killed as martyrs because these guys? And you know, they did things in style, guys. You know, they don't just get rid of you. You know what I mean? In a nice manner. They used to do this sort of stuff. They would torture people. The horror. You see, because what they do, this system, they keep you in fear mode. How much fear is it? People are choking on fear. There's not much love. Turn on the TV, oh, there's a war in Libya, there's a suicide bomber killed 50, babies were killed, blood, war, more war, banks are going. Ugh. Do you turn the TV on anymore? Forget it. Those talking heads, how much money are they getting to talk shit to the Australian people? Absolute putrid lies, these idiots. I don't know how they go to sleep at night. Those reporters, they're not reporters. That is more like entertainment. That is entertainment at its lowest vibration. Absolute animal. And the churches, we need to bust the churches. They're not so pristine after all. Well, I've got plenty of dirt on them. And just check out my astrotheology videos and you'll know that the whole thing is a corrupted science. It was a beautiful science that we once had on this planet. And long time ago, let's go back probably 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. The indigenous wisdom keepers of Egypt tell us that the Age of Amun began, the age of darkness, the age of hiddenness. And that happened down here in good old Egypt. So we can go back, there were 7 world powers, okay? There were 7 world powers. They're all basically the same entity, these 7 world powers. Because what's a world power? What's an empire? It's a corporation. It's a corpse. You can't go and find... Where's the government, right? They've got buildings, but is that a government? No. They've got talking heads, they've got idiots that tell lies on the Rothschild-controlled media all day long. Is that the government? No, they're just people who work for the government. What's the government? You said it. It's a bit of paper, is it? I don't know. It's an invisible thing. It's the government, right? And we're scared of it. And it's a corporation. So that's what Rome is the current world power. Absolutely rules the world. How does it do it? How does it do it? Well, it does it by stealth. You don't know it's ruling, and you know, Most of your educated fat head disease types, they're preaching parrot fashion, repeating the rubbish that they teach in their universities and institutions, all run by the Vatican. They wouldn't. People who come out of those institutions, they wouldn't know this. They laugh at you. Rome, still ruling. Oh yeah. Well, check out the Senate when the idiot Barack Obama is standing there and he's got the gold trim American flag behind him, the Catholic corporate flag, and 8-foot tall fasci of Rome, one on his left, one on his right, and that's Rome telling you, hey man, we rule your ass. And the Americans are, oh, we're a free country and Barack Obama is a democratic. Democracy's mob rule. Just check out what Thomas Jefferson had to say about it. It's mob rule. Where's the republics? You see, good old Rome is just the 7th incarnation of Assyria, Greece, Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Egypt. They were world powers. But wasn't Egypt the light of the world? Oh yes, it was. We're talking thousands of years ago. Now, Rome doesn't tell you that Egypt was around 60,000 years ago. You can't know that. And yet the indigenous wisdom keepers are telling you that. If you come to this country and the Aborigines say, oh, we've been here for X amount of years, and you say, oh, no, you haven't, we're going to rewrite that 200 years or whatever. Does that gel? Does that hold water? No, it doesn't. If the indigenous wisdom keepers tell you that they go back 65,000 years in this current consciousness wave, then what's Rome telling us that the pyramids and everything were built only 4,000 years ago? Check out the work of Robert Schoch, John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, Robert Bouval. Check out all those guys, what they know. Stephen Miller. I'm going to Egypt in October to talk there, to do some presentations with the Commission School of Ancient Mysticism. The flyers are at the front. And they are the indigenous wisdom keepers. So, but what happened 4,000 or 5,000 years ago was a lot of corruption over here, the Amun priesthood, which has now morphed into the little country up here in the hills in the Alps called Switzerland. Schwesterland, the land of the sisters. Who would those sisters be, I wonder? Because Swiss comes from les sœurs d'ici. Sœur, I got that wrong, haven't I? My French is not too good. But les sœurs, the sisters of Isis. Those banksters that got corrupt, the priesthood of Amun-Ra. And Akhenaten tried to change all that, Akhenaten, 3,500 years ago in the 18th dynasty. But the corruption was so heavy, these guys controlled the Suez Canal. Suez Canal. Zeus. Backward. Zeus backwards. They controlled the trading here. Then there was the Phoenicians over here. And check out the work of David Icke because he's spot on the money. You know how he's gone around and he's discovered the Phoenician connection. You know that flag, the flag that the British use? What's that one called? Yeah, well anyway, they've got the Union Jack, but they've got this flag too, yeah? Right? The Knights Templar flag and everything like that. That comes from Phoenicia, these guys, right here. These guys here were very into commerce. You see, when you go to court today, you're doing commerce. It's all about commerce. These guys, the Phoenicians, the word phony, you know, when someone's a phony, that comes from Phoenicia, because they are phonies. And you get phonetics, language, because these were the alphabet people, right? They gave the alphabet, the current form of alphabet, went to Greece and then Rome, but comes from Phoenicia, Tyre. This city was so dangerous that the Assyrians and the Babylonians and the Greeks everybody hated these people. They were killers. They used to do tin trading with England. thousands of years ago, 3,000 years ago. There's evidence that they went to the Americas, these people. They were writing, they controlled the whole Mediterranean. They set up Carthage. Rome destroyed Carthage because of these bastards. Sennacherib, a king of Assyria, and Esarhaddon, his son, and Ashurbanipal, 2,700 years ago, had a go at destroying Tyre. They had a city out in the Mediterranean Sea, and there was a causeway that and all the boats came here. They controlled the seas, commerce. This is where our commerce comes from. Then Nebuchadnezzar destroyed it after Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal had a go. Then Alexander the Great dealt with them. We're talking big rulers that tried to get rid of these people because they were controlling everything. They controlled all of this, Sicily. The Greeks controlled this part. They controlled many cities. Eventually they came over here to Venice. And the Phoenicians are the Venetians. I hope I've spelt that right. Venetians, Phoenicians. These are the Black Nobility. When Rome was sacked, most of them went here. And where did they found Venice? On the water. Just like they did. Copycats, aren't they? Same people. And these guys, then they married into all the royal bloodlines, the blue bloods in Europe with their money, because these are the gold bullion people, the commerce people. And these people founded the Jesuits. The Jesuits run the world. Scum of the earth, killers, murderers, blood-guilty dogs, killing our children. They run people trafficking, drug trafficking, the lot of it. And Queen Elizabeth is one of them. She's a bloodthirsty, evil entity. You got no idea. And people go to see Prince William. Oh, Prince William, and they're crying and they're falling over. If only they knew that these people are killers. There's so much blood guilt that this family carries that even the Bible says that the smell of the blood of the death of all of God's witnesses go up to his nose, and the stench of the blood of these people. Blood. Rome founded Paris. Rome founded London. They are Roman corporations. London, the city of the Lord. El, the sun or Saturn. Paris, Swiss, Paris, for Isis. And what do you find in the centre of Paris? Well, you find the Notre Dame. Who's the Notre Dame? Well, that's Isis. They're telling you. I mean, it's not hard. Now, Rome's an interesting story because Rome, when good old Babylon was destroyed, the priesthood, you know those cardinals, those guys dressed in red? Yeah, Babylon. That's why the whole thing's called Babylon the Great. Get out of her, my people, if you do not want to share with her in her sins. Because you will. And we're going to talk about the remedy to get out of Babylon the Great. It's a system of shit served up as freedom for you. Just get a birth certificate and join the corporation and get on the citizenship. What they've done is they've put you on their ship and you think you've got rights because you're on the land. You've got no rights, which are creator-given. Let's not use the word God-given because we don't want to be churchy now and killers, because that's what they are, and pedophiles. The creator, the cause, the Ein Sof, the Anama, the no-named one. If you name it, it's not them. It's not that one. You come from there, the cause. It's unconditioned consciousness. You are unconditioned consciousness. Blissful. That's your true nature. So why are you suffering? Why are you sick? Because of this system. It's got to go, and it will go. And we're going to bring it down with our consciousness and peaceful non-compliance, guys. Preach the word. Peaceful non-compliance. Don't comply with these bastards. The phonies. They set up a good old system, all right? Yeah. They set up a system where you don't have any rights anymore. Don't go to court saying, I have rights and God-given rights. Don't do that, because you haven't. You've got services, privileges and benefits. And you might want to check Black's Law Dictionary to find out what that means. It means you're a freaking slave. Privileges? Yeah, you can go to jail, that's a privilege. You can pay tax, that's a benefit. Benefits them. It's all rigged and stacked in their favour. You can't win in court, there's no remedy. It's a slave ship. How did they get us enslaved? Well, I wonder. Well, when a child is born, it comes through a birth canal, doesn't it? So when the ship comes in the high waters from another land, which has different laws, and cannot trade with another country unless it has maritime law, it comes into the birthing canal, B-E-R-T-H, yeah? Right? Birth, same stuff. Canal, birth, the docks. There's always a doctor when a child is born, isn't there? That's the docks. Yeah. A certificate of manifest. Oh, here's a baby. A statement of live birth. And they got your parents to inform. It says it on your birth certificate. The informants. This is it. This is my slave. Bonded. Certified. It's certified because it was a statement of birth, live birth. And what the government did was it says, oh yes, beautiful, we've got two, Palmina Bonacci and Vittoria Bonacci have just informed that they've got something has manifested into the world. That's the certificate of manifest that the captain gives when he comes into the docks, into the port, in the canal, the birth canal. And he gives the port authorities this docket, a warehouse docket. And that's what this is, guys. That's your birth certificate. It's certified. Why would they have to certify it? Remember that word, because in the second half, you'll realise how important that word is. Because that's how they got the wool over you, because their documents are certified. And we go to court. Do you certify your documents when you go to court? There you go. That's how they do it. So then they certify it, the government, and then puts it on bond paper. Bondsman, slave, yeah. And then gives you a certified copy. And you run off and go, oh, look at this. Oh, I got a birth certificate. Oh, I'm a citizen. Well, yeah. Yeah, you're a citizen, all right. On their ship. It's a ship. And the waters they've put all around the planet with their little pyramids around the world, and you see the little watermark 2 foot off the ground, that little bronze, that little strip, that little mark that goes around. That's the water. They've brought the water up to there, wherever you see these pyramids, and they rule. Washington DC's got that Washington Monument, 666 foot of granite monument. Rome has the largest natural obelisk in the middle of St. Peter's Square, stolen off Cairo by Julius Caesar, because the Julian dynasty is the family that started these corporations. Because he and his son, adopted son Augustus, were the first gods, sons of God, to rule an empire. And the Republic went bye-byes. Just like the Vatican did 30 years ago in America, in 1881 on the 21st of February. The 1881 Act. It's an act. They're acting. The US is a corporation, not the United States of America, the Republic. And the churchgoers have been indoctrinated to think that it's a Christian country. No, the Christians were killing the indigenous people, converting them to Christ by the edge of the sword, putting them into concentration camps. They call, what do they call them, reservations? The Indians are in reservations. Look at our Aborigines. You reckon they have suicide in our jails? No, mate. No, they're poisoned. They're killed. They're murdered by the policemen. Because half of the police force, if not 90%, are animals. Unconscious animals. Bullies. Bullies that have no place doing what they're doing. It's all criminal, all of it. There's nothing redeemable in it at all. Nothing. Consciousness must come to save this planet. Consciousness. Not intelligent stuff. In the institutions, they keep you below the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the fourth brain. We have 4 brains. The cerebrum, the cerebellum, the medulla oblongata, which controls all of our involuntary actions like breathing, etc., and the solar plexus. This is the lower mind. People are stuck in the lower mind and they can't get out of it because all of the practices in the institutions of the world, education, church, the lot of it, keep you down there. They're not interested in enlightenment, but they're very interested in the word education for some reason. We need to educate the kids. And you've got types like Bill Gates we've got to vaccinate those poor children. In other words, kill them. It's eugenics. They're killers. They're all killers. And he belongs, like all the rest of these multi-billion trillionaires. Trillionaires. What do you got? They've got trillion pieces of paper. Scum of the earth. They're all into eugenics. Prince Philip. Oh, if I could come back, I would be a virus and kill 90% of humanity. Yeah, Prince Philip. Oh yeah, when Prince William goes around pouncing around, so important, and all these kids go to their murderers to praise them and honour them. You see, the whole process is a satanic evil ritual, and it all comes from these creeps. You see these, the tiara, the trirenium. Trirenium three kingdoms would be over your physical bodies and your souls and your spirits. The Catholics, the universal church, tell you that salus extra ecclesia non est. In other words, you can't be saved outside of the Catholic Church. So they take it upon themselves to baptise you. And there's your baptism. You're a citizen of Rome, and you're owned lock, stock and barrel, and you're a slave of Rome. Citizen means slave. Or employee. You work for Rome. And you love that. Oh, I'm going into court and I'm going to defend my name there, see? Santos Bonacci. Wow, all caps. I wonder what that means. Fiction. Corporation. Everything's on paper. When they send you a summons, a bit of paper, you get scared and you go, oh, they're demanding I go to court. They're just inviting you to go to court. And you can decline as you will, as you wish. But people are going into court not knowing anything about this, and they're being raped by this empire. Now, please check out this product. This is brought out by Amun Stop Productions. Amen Stop. Yeah, they're going to stop the Sisters of Isis, the Amun-Ra people that used to control all the Suez Canal. And by the way, that was Zion, Mount Zion. That's why these Zionists want to control the world, because they come from this very, very ancient, dark brotherhood. Check out William Bramley's work, The Gods of Eden. Read that book. That'll open your eyes. Please, if you can get a chance to watch Esoteric Agenda. Money as Debt. The Money Masters. I have originals of all of the... I've got a ton of DVDs. because I don't rip them off the internet, I buy the originals. Masters of the Universe, Hijacking Humanity. Great products, guys. Check out the work of Tony Bushby. Tony Bushby has busted he's an Australian author, by the way. He's got about 6 books. I've read them all. And they're all brilliant. I got this picture from his book. Well, looky here. That's a whole bunch of boats, isn't it? That was 500 years ago. This is the Vatican's army, by the way, 500 years ago. This was a crusade. These ships were all parked in the Bay of Naples. And this famous painter, he just grabbed the occasion and just did that for us and left that for antiquity. That's only half of the naval. Look at those ships. What's a church doing with all those war machines, ships? Well, as that DVD shows, The Ring of Power, Rome, the City of London, this City of London, the commercial hub where the Phoenicians, the phonies, went with their commerce laws, and DC are the 3 cities of the Ring of Power. Check it out. Whatever you do, check it out. The painter was famous painting by Giorgio Vasari, Italian artist and historian. Travelled to Messina. Oh, it was in Messina, sorry. In Sicily, down here. Not the Bay of Naples. Messina, and painted this picture on site. It reveals approximately 200 moored Christian ships that had returned to port shortly after Pope Pius V died. Organised the last crusade against the Turks in 1571. That's morphed into the Pentagon, guys. It hasn't gone away. They're still killing people in Libya, Afghanistan, and everywhere where they need to bring democracy, because it's really good to have democracy, to be able to export it to countries that don't have it, because it's corporate thuggery, Halliburton and Blackwater, doing business with foreign countries. They've been doing it since... Oh, I wonder who the family was that discovered the Americas and took it off the originals. Not the Aboriginals, the originals that were there. Yeah, that's how it was painted, Constantine coming with what, a cross. Yeah, maritime flags, crosses, Catholic Church written all over it. In fact, the year after 1492, when he went back to Portugal, he signed the Treaty of Tordesillas. Look into that, because that gave the Vatican all the land. And you know what they did? They had a demarcation line where they went straight through South America, and they gave the Portuguese, that's why Brazil, all the eastern part of South America is Portuguese speaking. And there's a line that goes straight through. And everything west is Spanish, because they settled that. Columbus settled that. That's why you have the Bank of International Settlements. We're all on a settlement, it's plantation. They went and grabbed the plantation, took a bunch of black slaves over there to grow the cotton and everything like that, and that's how they started this company. There were 13 companies, in fact, which morphed into 13 colonies, which morphed into 13 original states. States, that would be the Vatican. The Papal Billions, no. Big mistake with that title. It's the Papal Gazillions. And they've raped it. They have raped the planet. They've trashed it. The Bible fraud. Ooh, I wonder what he's got to say about that. And I love Joseph Farrell. He's written a bunch of books, and they're one better than the other. And this one, there's a chapter in there about the M-O-N words. Mon, monarchy, monotheism, money, monopoly. Yeah. Okay? So, what they've done is they've given you a name, and it's all caps. It's called Capita Diminutia Maximus. I hope I got that right. But anyway, I sometimes get it right and then sometimes just can't get it at all. Anyway, all caps. So what's with the name? Well, why does a police officer... By the way, that's a sheriff. That's a sheriff in New South Wales, man. They're telling you, we work for the Catholic Church. They're telling you, man, and they come to your door. Oh, by the way, I neglected to mention there was a country here called Khazaria. And the Khazarians are also in with this mob. So you have to understand where all of the corrupt entities came from and how money families merged with monarchy, blue blood families, and now you have the bourgeoisie, not the aristocracy, running the planet. In other words, the unconscious. Once upon a time it was a meritocracy in a republic. And if you had the merits, you got the job. These days, George Bush gives himself the job. A known criminal family like you wouldn't believe, killers, murderers. Prescott Bush was doing trade with the Japanese during World War II, selling them scrap metal and oil. He got busted. They took him to court. Didn't lose. You don't when you know the judges, man, you know. No worries, Mr. Judgy Poos. They're all criminals. But these families, they elect themselves the elite, the elites. They're not the aristocracy. They are the bourgeoisie scum. And in the Bible they're called the Gentiles. And the Gentile times of the nations have been a good few thousand years. And why? Well, because we live in cycles. And this is what the churches don't want you to know. We live in, one cycle is a 24,000 year cycle called procession. And what happens is we go in the summer and the winter of procession, just like any other season, day and night. As the sun goes around through the 12 signs of the zodiac, it brings us through new ages. It spends 2,000 years in the sign. It's been in the sign of Pisces for 2,000 years, and it's entering the age of Aquarius, which will bring change, spiritual change. Great spiritual change and consciousness. And we're receiving the benefit of that now. We're going through the dragon's breath. Every time Aquarius comes, Aquarius is the man. There's only one man standing there. Okay, Gemini is a couple of twins. There's Virgo, she's a woman. The rest is animals and all sorts of creatures. But there's one man, Aquarius, who's got the water. And he's pouring it down. Those are spiritual waters, because Aquarius is a fixed air sign. And air is mind. You see, Pisces, the two fish, one doubts and one believes. We've been in the church of doubting and believing for 2,000 years. Oh, believe in Jesus, you'll be saved. Oh, I doubt. Don't doubt, brother. Believe, doubt, believe, doubt. Aquarius, the motto of Aquarius is I know. Yeah, that's why we're knowing. We're knowing all this now and waking up. It's the age of consciousness. And it will defeat this beast. We will defeat it. We had a crack, like I said, 500 years ago in the Renaissance. You see, Martin Luther, they reckon that he was this great liberator. He was just another businessman doing a different business called Protestantism. And they're all the same shit. You think any of those Protestant churches actually tell their little dupes that go to church, hey, you know what, you've got this trust that the Catholic has and it owns your soul and everything like that. And you know, when you pay all the bills with your all the hard-earned money that you give as tax to the government, to the priests of Baal, do you think the churches... Go to any one of these churches, do you think any of those priests are telling them, hey, wake up! The Vatican owns your asses, and you're paying everything to the Vatican through the trusts. You reckon you're going to get that in church? The Jehovah's Witnesses never said that when I was there for 22 years, knocking on your door, helping you to find Jesus, because he's lost. 30 years before Martin Luther, the scum, there was a real decent liberator, Giovanni Pico della Mirandola, and he had 900 theses, and this book is called Syncretism in the West. What's syncretism? That's the stuff I'm doing. Astrotheology, everything. All of the philosophies, all of the religions, all of the sciences, they're all one. They're all interrelated. They're all one. These guys like to tell you they're not. And they specialise people with a PhD and, doctors and all of these, dentists, and they only specialise in one thing and they know squat about everything else. So they're perfect foot soldiers for Rome. Policemen are doing their job because they think they're doing something good. They're working for Rome. Everyone has been conscripted. They've all been conscripted. And we have too, unbeknownst to us, through this system, which I'm going to expose, and the churches don't. He wrote a beautiful book called The Oration of the Dignity of Man. If you ever want to read a great philosophical work, this is like the manifesto of philosophy. Giovanni Pico, he went down to Rome with 900 theses, 30 years before Martin Luther, and he challenged what he called the Apostolic Senate. The buffoons in red, the cardinals, he called them the Apostolic Senate. Yeah, the Vatican is just the Roman Senate. That's all it is. It's been morphing all the time. And he challenged them and he said, come on, I'll take you on, you idiots, and I'll show you that Plato, Hermes, Aristotle, Buddha, Krishna, Viracocha all said the same thing, and it was all just natural science. And these guys have come along and they've made a fictional story out of it, herding people into churches, telling them, oh, you'll be saved by Jesus Christ. The vicarious salvation. What, you can't save yourself? If you're dumb, you can't. But if you're enlightened, yes, you can. The Christ is within. In fact, Colossians 1:27, 26 and 27, where the Apostle Paul says, the sacred secret from all times that was hidden from your eyes is now being revealed to you. And that is the glory of the Christ within. What was he talking about? Well, he's talking about there's a sacred fluid that is produced in your cerebrum, in the pia mater portion, the holy portion of the brain, right? At the claustrum, otherwise known as the holy claustrum or Santa Claus. And it goes down into the midbrain. It hits the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. It gets differentiated there. The pineal sends an electric portion of that fluid down the pingala, and then the pituitary gland sends a magnetic portion down the pingala. It goes down to the sacrum here in the spine, and you have a nerve ending called the sacrum. Let's not use the word chakras because that's from the devil. Let's call them nerve endings or ganglion, and you'll find that in Gray's Anatomy. And I don't know whether Gray worshipped the devil or Sante or all those anatomists. So let's not disturb the Christians, shall we? That oil, otherwise known as Christos, the Christ within, goes down your spine after it's differentiated at these two glands, travels down the tree of life, which is the pneumogastric nervous system, feeding the lungs and the stomach, the tree of life. And then above that ganglion, there's the solar plexus. Remember that one, the fourth brain? That's called Bethlehem. Corresponds with Virgo in the zodiac. Bethlehem means the house of bread, because there is a seed born there, which is the bread of life. Jesus said, I am the bread of life. It's not talking about a historical person, it's talking about this inner science of how if you raise that oil and return it back to God by tithing, by giving 10% of it back, because if you squander that oil in riotous living like overeating and drinking and lots of stuff, you ruin it, you spoil it. It never goes up. The reason it must go up to touch the optic thalamus, this little egg that sits on top of the spine. And this is why the Pontifex Maximus has got his staff and it's got a pineal gland or a pine cone on the end of it, because it's talking about the pineal gland at the top, right behind the optic thalamus. When the oil reaches there, that is when you get Christed. That's the crucifixion. And what happens is that oil vibrates 1,000 times more than when it was down here. And guess what? It reactivates all the dormant brain cells in your brain. And you've got trillions of them. Alcohol kills brain cells. It's a killer. That's why they love alcohol and they tax it and everything like that. And they tell you, that marijuana's bad. Cannabis, they call it marijuana because that's a legal term and they can herd you into court and send you to jail for it. But cannabis, they can't. Cannabis is the God plant. It's alkaline. But they'll give you plenty of alcohol because that's poison and it'll kill that seed. You kill that seed. And you get 12 opportunities to raise that seed because every month when the moon is in your sun sign, a psychophysical germ is planted in Bethlehem. There's a little indentation in that solar ganglion, and that's where the seed is born. And you have an opportunity when the moon is passing through your sun sign, in my case Aries, to abstain from sex and save that seed, and it'll go up, and you'll be Christed, illuminated. Syncretism is what this is all about tonight, guys. Whether it's going over your head a little bit or not, or whether you're right up to scratch with me and you're right up, that's good. I'm hoping you are. It looks like you are. I can tell you guys are keeping up. But your churchgoers and all these people who watch this video once it's on the internet, they would have turned it off about the 10th minute in. Oh, this is from the devil. Off, and then just, I want to hang on to my opinions. Lose the opinions and learn and know the truth. Knowing, in the Kabbalah, there is a Sephiroth that's called Dart. Here, it's the doorway. It's the 11th Sephiroth. On the top is Kether, ether. That's where you've got to reach. You've got to bring the Christ back up. Raise the Christ, like a thermometer. It's like a lamp. It's a thermometer. It's just like a distillery. The bad stuff stays down, the good stuff goes up. Vibrates higher. And that's what you've got to do. And when you get to Kether, you've got Chokmah and Binah, and here you've got Dart, knowledge. That's the key. That's why they don't want knowledge and they kill the knowers. Giordano Bruno was a knower. He knew this science. They got rid of him on the 17th of February 1600 after 7 years of torture. Just like this bastard killed Jacques de Molay, the Clement, the one after him, in cahoots with Philip of France, and they stole all the Templars' money. But see, in 1291, just months after Akon fell to the Templars in the Middle East, those crusades, just months after they went to Switzerland and founded Switzerland. The Sisters of Isis, these bankster types. And he killed Jacques de Molay in 1307, just 5 years, Clement after him, just 5 years after he enacted a papal bull called Unum Sanctum. This is where most of the trouble began, because all of this stuff that I've presented here, it's all been absorbed by the Catholic Church. They made a claim in 1302 in Unum Sanctum, written with blood on the skin of a kid. Do your homework about kid. We call our children kids. On the skin of a kid, and then they put it in their vaults. They curse it with their black magic, their Saturnian black magic, satanic black magic. And then, guess what? There's no one around to challenge that claim. Anyone here know of anyone that's challenged? No, it hasn't been challenged. So Boniface VIII, do-gooder, because that's what Boniface means. Boniface. It's like my name, Bonacci. It means to do good. Bon. Yeah, he did good. What he did was he set up this. And subsequent to this papal bull, which says basically, you can check it out on Wikipedia, Unum Sanctum, the papal bull, okay? Check it out on Wikipedia. It tells you that the Catholic Church basically put on that with blood, that they own the world, all the chattel, all the souls, all the titles of properties and everything, and that's that. And that's how they've been doing business with their Jesuit army ever since. And they turn up in court when you go to court and you think you're getting justice. You think you're on the land. And these poor boys, 18, 17, 18, 19, got caught with a bit of cannabis. Didn't hurt anybody. They didn't break the universal law, do no harm. They're just taking God's plants. Or perhaps got a few speeding fines. 5 k's over the limit here, 5 miles over the limit there. And guess what? And the judge, if he's having a bad day, says, 2 months jail. You know, some of those boys never come out the same. They're depressed forever. Some of them commit suicide. And the judges got plenty of cash in the back pocket. They make a lot of money out of jail. Get people into jails. Build more jails. Get people into jails. Fill them. Because they make gazillions. It's a business. It's all corporate. It's a corporate monstrosity. And remember the word corpse. That's all it is. This is not a republic or anything like that, or a constitution. You have no rights. Services, benefits and privileges is all you've got on this ship. But remedies are coming. Okay? After this fateful day, and you know when you have fateful days, when you make a decision in your life and the consequences of that decision are just so awful. Oh, it's so awful. You've had that. I know you have. No one's immune from it. But that was a fateful year, 1302, because after that, in 1455, they created the first, Unum Sanctum was the first express trust in history, claiming the world. But in 1455, Romanus Pontifex, a trust, a Sestui KV trust, was created. And that channeled all of the property from Unum Sanctum into it. And what does it do? According to the research of Franco Collins, another researcher in Australia, because that's all I am, by the way, I'm just a researcher. I don't get anybody teaching me anything. I don't channel information. I don't have visions. I don't have any of that esoteric stuff. I'm not condemning any of that, because there's people out there who are channeling and having visions and whatever. That's how they get their information. Great. I sweat for it. And this is the result of just hard researched stuff, well researched stuff. And if you've seen my videos on astrotheology, you will know that you can't debunk it. There's an idiot out on the internet who's offered $30,000 to anyone who can debunk Zeitgeist, the film. The first film of Zeitgeist was brilliant, right on the money, and it opened the minds of many, many people, and they woke up. My videos probably got about 100 times more evidences and proofs of the same thing, that the churches are based on a true science and they've corrupted it, turned it into shit and given it as truth. And that idiot owes me $30,000. I'm declaring to the world today that the buffoon who made... you go to Zeitgeist on the internet, Google Zeitgeist, and then just under that is Zeitgeist debunked. You want to vomit? Check it out. I vomited when this creep, this churchy boy, Jesus is going to save us, is debunking Zeitgeist. Go to hell. I've debunked that idiot 1,000 times, and he owes me $30,000. That's on the record. So another researcher went back and debunked the debunker of Zeitgeist, kicked his butt. Check out all the proofs, like I've done in my videos. They're full of proofs. That's all it is. That's all it is. I've just done. There's proof there. Proof that astrotheology is the system that runs it all, and these corporations and the Khazarians. Remember what they did, man. These there was Christendom over here, and there was Islam over here, and then this one, they adopted the Judaism and corrupted it, just like these corrupted Sufi wisdom, and these ones corrupted and destroyed Gnostic Christianity, the true sciences. Sufism is science, Judaism is science, Kabbalah, it's beautiful spiritual science, it's all dealing with the same thing, different languages. That's why when idiots say to me, "Oh, do you believe in astrology, Santos?" I say, "Nope." I know astrology, just like I know English. I don't believe in it. I know how to play a guitar. I don't go, oh, shit, I'm going to the mall today. I better believe in my guitar and believe that I can play the guitar. You know? Believing is for fools. Remember the two fish of Pisces, right? Oh, astrology. It's from the devil. And the PhD, the fat head types, tell you that it's a pseudoscience because we did it in the laboratory and there's no proof that it works. So let's stop thinking about it. Ptolemy, the great astrologer, said, idiots who condemn astrology are buffoons because they can't understand anything. And because they haven't got the insight and the intuition and they haven't got the reactivated dormant brain cells going and the higher mind activated and they're down here in the animal mind, they can't understand squat and then they condemn it. Einstein said condemnation without investigation is the height of stupidity. And so these idiots, do you believe in astrology, Santos? No, I know it. And why? Oh, it's from the devil. And how much do you know about astrology? Oh, nothing, but it's from the devil. I know that because some pedophile priest told me that when I was a little boy in church. The same one that raped me. Yeah, in 1481, astrology. Last time I checked, that means stars, and last time I checked, God made the stars, not the devil. And logi is the science of the stars. That is an innocent term. That is an innocent word. I'll tell you what isn't innocent. See, the Bible condemns astrology. It doesn't condemn astrology. It appears to be a condemnation. You must not have astrologers in the land. Just like you shouldn't have doctors in the land. If there's doctors, it means you're sick and you're eating shit. Because if you eat raw food that the earth produces, you'll never get sick. And you walk on dirt and you solar gaze and you do all those things, you never get sick. And you raise the Christ, you can live forever. If you do that properly, raising that oil, you can live forever. In fact, they used to. And when they decided they had enough of incarnation, they just said, oh, I've had enough of this, I'm out of here. But now we're just dying at 60, at 30, at 40, cancer, heart disease and everything like that. Astrology can cure it. Paracelsus, a great man who discovered hydrogen and nitrogen and zinc in the 1500s, they called him the Swiss Hermes. He was a great astrologer. The Bible condemns astrology, does it? I'll tell you what it does, it's condemn. And I wonder how many churchgoers, they see an astrologer and she's from the devil. But let me tell you what else the Bible condemns. Liars. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. I wonder how many people go to get their documents notarized and justice of the peace and all those people that make those papers that put you into prison. And, when a churchgoer is in a bit of legal strife, his brother says, oh, you need a lawyer, brother. No, this one's from the devil. Oh, that's the lawyers. Money. A lot of them have got their pockets full of that. Usury. I wonder what that means. The Bible says you must not practice usury. Never charge interest to your brother. Never. It's a sin. These boys up here, they know all about usury. Just go and check out their homes. 16-storey gold. They've gold that they've pillaged from around the earth. They've got ivory in their homes. They've got diamonds and silver and gold and jewellery everywhere. And Rolls Royces, poncing around, destroying, trashing the earth. Usury. Governments. Pharisees. That would be the priests. That's the churchgoers. They use the services of the priest. Astrologers from the devil, though. See, you can make money out of this. This is part of the capitalistic empire of destruction and death that the churches are 100% in cahoots with. That's why they use lawyers and scribes and got money in their pockets and go to the bank for a mortgage, a death pledge. Oh yes, 30 years of debt, to the banks. Yep, mortgage. Give me a mortgage. Give me one of those. Hey, where do I sign? Mortgage. Beautiful. And the Bible condemns usury. And they're right in there getting a lot of it. Banks, you got some money? I'll have some of that. Yeah, 20% interest? Doesn't matter. Bible condemns that. Yeah, give me some of that. And you got all these Christians who got loads of cash. And they love the birth certificate because God keeps the governments, allows them to rule, because God's got a controversy with this other fictional corporation called Satan, this bad guy. Look, I'm just going to 10 more minutes. It's what is it? 8:30. Yeah, instead of 8:45, I think I can see a little bit of tiredness. So 10 more minutes. Hang in there. Okay? Boring? No. Okay. So in 1481, just 12 years before 1492, when the Christopher Columbus family, fiction, discovered America and raped it consequently, and killed a few 300 million indigenous people. That's the true figure. Don't think the cowboys and Indians and the Indians were baddies and they killed a couple of thousand and did them a favour and stuck them on reservations. No. They went there to do business. The elite families went there. They saw those lands in America. They saw Australia, the Crown, the Holy See and the Commonwealth, and they said, let's bring Christendom out there because there's a whole bunch of baddies, people, Aboriginals in Australia. They got a bad religion. They think everything's got souls in it. I mean, they think trees have got souls in it. Animists, pantheists, theist is the word. You see, they love the word theist because it's God, it's male. They don't like the word deist. The founding fathers of America were deists. The divine. They knew that they were divine and that we are divine. We're nothing but divinity. Nothing less than divinity. You're not the sinner that they tell you are in church. You're not the worm. You're not the grub, the groveller. Beg for a registration. Sign up here, sign up there. There's a salesman on every corner. You're driving down the highway, just about to have a crash because there's this sexy woman selling shit. There's someone else selling more shit, and everybody's going, I better get the new SUV. Got to keep up with the Joneses. While he's climbing the corporate ladder, which doesn't exist, leaving their little children at home with pedophiles to look after them in many cases, down at the local, child minding centre. So they created in 1481 Eterni Regis, the eternal crown. The one before that in 1455, Romanus Pontifex, that's the crown. The crown, you think it's English, it's the Vatican. The Crown, the Commonwealth. The second one is the Commonwealth. Eterni Regis is the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is not the English Empire. Rome owns it. Rome owns the lot. The Vatican does. What the big thing is we need to know is who are the families that own that corporation? Who are they? I would suggest it might be the Piso family. The Rothschild family would be in there. Khazarian scum of the earth with their wonderful grandmother who said if my sons didn't want wars, there wouldn't be any. I'd like to know where, if there's a burning place in hell, I'd like to know where her address in hell is, because she'd be burned right now. There's no way you can wipe the slate clean after you've said something like that and lived and backed it up and been proud of it and boasted it. In 1537, the Jesuits, the Phoenicians, the Black Nobility who married into all these, the House of Orange, the House of Hanover, the House of Hesse and the Saxe-Coburg-Gothers and all these, let's go and see the prince. He's the prince of us. We need a monarchy. We need someone to rule it because we're so dumb. We need Prince William to tell us what to do to kill us. In 1537, convocation. So, Romanus Pontifex, Eterni Regis and convocation. They are the three trusts that have enslaved you. So after we have a break, we're going to see how they've done that. How they've corporatised your flesh-blood entity and made you believe that you are your bodies. You ain't your bodies. This is just a part of who you are. a very, very small, lowest part of who you really are. And we need to remember who we are through meditation, through good practices, through consciousness and enlightenment, bringing up the oil, not living so riotously. There's a lot of temptation, there's a lot of allurements and entanglements that this world, this system offers. And in the end, it's poison. For all the people who have got shares with Halliburton and Blackwater because they make trillions of dollars, they're supporting the military-industrial complex. So your citizenship makes you a killer. And you go to work and pay tax, makes you a killer because you're supporting this system. Non-compliance is the way to go. It's absolutely peaceful, non-compliance is the way. Get out of it. Teach the pensioners that they don't need to pay utilities. And if the utility company rings and says, you've got an amount that you need to pay. Really? Well, so far, buddy, you've just sent me statements. You send me a true bill, mother effer, and I might pay that. I might pay that if you send me a true bill. You watch and see if they send you a true bill. They can't, because there is none, because they've already dipped into your Sestui KV trust. They second dip all the time when you pay fines, when you pay parking tickets. They've already dipped into your Sestui KV trusts. The banksters, they create money out of thin air with your signature. Why? Because the money's in your trust. How much would these banksters be making out of the $7 million they pay for this? When I was born, 49 years ago on March the 24th, 1963, and then subsequently a few days later, this was certified, this bit of paper. The banksters paid, in our figures today, $7 to $8 million. Guess how much they made on that? What the return is, which you get nothing of. When you go to the dole to get the dole because you haven't got a job for 2 weeks, can I get the dole, please? 400 little bits of pitiful money, and they make you jump this hurdle and run around this, do all sorts of things. You've got to get this paper, that paper, we need to know who you are, 100% of ID, oh, we can't just give you money. The banksters make $1.2 billion from your butts sitting on those chairs. $1.2 billion. These guys are living it up. Party's over. Mene, mene, tekel parsin. When Belshazzar saw the writing on the wall, mene, mene, tekel parsin, your kingdom has been weighed in the scales, you have been found wanting, you're dead. These guys, hang in there, because they're dead. They're goners. Consciousness is going to send them bye-byes. Remember David and Goliath? Yeah. That's coming, okay? Let's have a break. Whew. Thank you.